Hey friends, how are you doing? My name is Colby Sharp. I am a 5th grade teacher in Michigan, and it's the last week of school before winter break, which is super exciting for the kids and for me. And some of the kids maybe aren't as excited and are feeling a little stressed out, but it is what it is. It is the last week before break, and one of the things we're really going to focus on this week is helping them be prepared to be readers over break. We get 4 major breaks. Our students get 4 major breaks over the school year. Thanksgiving break, winter break, spring break, and then the big one, summer break. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you and share with you how I use these 3 smaller breaks to help prepare my kids for, I guess, the Super Bowl of break reading, summer vacation. Are you ready? Let's go. I think that to prepare kids for summer vacation and to read in the summer, we need to help them become readers, and we need to help them just fall in love with reading and want to read, and reading to be just something that is who they are. But reading in a classroom is a lot different than reading at home. In the classroom, they're surrounded by their peers. They're surrounded by 24 other kids who are reading every single day for 30 minutes. There's a read aloud every single day. There are book talks every single day. They are set up for success. But when they go home and they have an extended amount of time outside of school, it's harder. They don't have maybe the access to books. They don't have the reading community. Sometimes they're very alone and they're the only reader around. And so what we're going to talk about today is the way and the things that I do to help make them successful, or to have a better opportunity to be successful reading outside of school. The very first break that we had was Thanksgiving, which was about a month ago. And before Thanksgiving break, they took a survey, kind of getting them prepared for it. I guess survey might not be there. They answered a few questions to help them think about reading over break. And the first question was, what is your goal for reading over break? I want to know, do you even want to read? Like, is it something that is important to you? Is it something that you think that you should do? And being in this class and being nice human beings that they are, all of them said that they wanted to read, and they set different goals based on how much they thought they could read. The second question that I asked them was, what might get in the way of them reading over break? Because let's be real, it's different. Things are not as structured a lot of times. They're going places and they're seeing family and they're doing things. So one of the best ways, I think, to prepare to defeat these obstacles is to identify them. So they talked about what might get in the way of them reading. The third question that I asked them were, what are their steps to be successful? So were they thinking they wanted to make sure they had enough books? Were they going to set aside a certain time every day to read? Were they going to find ways to go and get books during the breaks? Like, what steps are you going to put into place to make sure that you are reading over break? And then the final question was just simply, what are you going to be reading? What books are you going to have? And I wanted them to either have those books at home or physically have them in class. And they made a list of all of the books that they wanted to read. And then when we left for break, they took those books from class home with them so that they had something to read. That first break came and went. And when they came back to class that first day after a long Thanksgiving weekend, we had 5 days, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. And then we had a snow day on Monday, so we actually had a 6-day break this year. They came back, and then we, of course, reflected on how reading went. And the first question, I have them here. The first question was, over winter break, I read, and then it was a lot, some, a little, or none, and then there was like a little description of what each one meant, and they just circled that. The next thing that I had them do was list everything that they read, from video game instructions to cookbook recipes to the books and the magazines and the articles that they read. They made a list of everything that they read over break. And then we looked at those obstacles. What got in the way of them reading? I wanted them to write me a paragraph discussing the things that got in the way of them being successful as readers over break. Saw a lot of siblings on there, saw a lot of travel on there, saw a lot of holiday on there, and saw some I just forgot. The next question was, what helped them to be successful reading? Most of my kids read at least a little bit, so something helped them to be successful, whether it was bringing books home, whether it was they just loved to read, whether it was their mom or their dad. Most all of the kids had something that helped them to be successful, and that's something that we want to build on as we go into the next break. And then the final question, really important one, what will they do differently as they head into the next break, which is coming up soon, which is this winter break. This is the next step in their journey of becoming an amazing reader, not just in class, but amazing reader in their lives. And now we find ourselves just a few days away from winter break, getting ready for that exciting time for many of them, that nerve-wracking time being away from school and the stability and food for others. And we're looking at them. I'm passing these back. I'm meeting with every single student this week, and we're looking at these surveys, we're looking at these reflection sheets, and we're talking about it. And I'm going to ask them, you know, what are you going to do differently? You know, this is something you said, you still think that, how are we going to do it? And we're going to go through the whole process again. We're going to make a plan before. We're going to make sure we have all of the books that we need. And then they know that when they get back in January, we're going to reflect on it. And for some of the kids I know, for a fact it's going to go better. They're going to have more time. It's not quite as crazy for a lot of them as Thanksgiving. There's 2 weeks. A lot of them will be getting books for gifts. So I think a lot of them will be more successful. Some of them might be less successful. Some of them might find no success. I don't know how it's going to go. But whatever happens with them over this time, we are going to take it. And right when we get back, we're going to reflect on it. The kids who had a really, really hard time reading, I will probably meet one-on-one with them that Monday and Tuesday we get back and just kind of talk about it. Really just I'm not going to be upset with them. We're just going to say, oh, what happened? And try to figure it out. You know, we'll be serious. We know we got to figure this out. But at the same time, I'm not going to make anyone ever feel bad for not reading over break. I just want to help them as we move forward. We can't change the past. So I will put links to the Google Doc that I use for these sheets. They're not fancy. They're very basic. If you want to create something, maybe this will help get you started. But just be thinking about what can we celebrate when it comes to reading over break, and how can we help them move forward. We're getting closer to that Super Bowl of reading outside of class. That summer vacation is coming. We're not even halfway done with the school year, but it's never too early to start thinking about how are we going to prepare our kids for reading in the real world? How are we going to prepare them to read when they're not with us? Because if they're only reading when they're with us, we are failing them as reading teachers. Our goal is to help them become people who want to read always, because we know that that is what's going to help make them successful in life. Help me get better at this. Let me know what you're doing. What are you doing to help get your kids excited about reading over break? How are you helping prepare them to be successful readers outside the four walls of your school or your classroom? Thank you so much for tuning in. Have an awesome-tastic day, and happy reading.